Ellen, thanks for coming. How are you?
I'm so excited to see you.
Yeah. Oh, okay. So let's attach that. You have a little clamp? Yeah, you should. Yes, there you go. Got it. And we're live. So we have few people watching right now. You can say hi there.
Hi.
And but we're also recording. I'll cut things in chunks and then we can like republish that, 2 shorts and whatever.
Okay.
And the idea today, Embedded World,
Yes.
is to say hi, to share a little bit about what you guys are doing, Keyfactor, and talk about what we want to talk about: AI, IoT, bunch of things, right?
Sure.
How do you feel?
Sounds great.
Awesome. Well, thanks for coming. Who are you? What are you doing?
Well, my name is Ellen Boehm, and I'm the head of IoT at a cybersecurity software company called Keyfactor.
Okay.
Been there for about 5 years. And before that, I was in smart home and smart cities product development and engineering. So I have an IoT product background, but now I'm totally into cybersecurity when it comes to securing devices and creating secure connections between those devices and whatever they need to talk to.
Yep.
So that's a little bit about
Interesting.
me and what I do.
So let me ask you, I was at Microsoft for a long time, and I left Microsoft last year. Companies like Microsoft, they work on the next 5 to 10 years. And so when I was engaging with developers about IoT and embedded devices and so on, to me, it was a little bit of a given that things were connected, that were going beyond just the asset connected thingy. But actually, I realized in the last year or so that companies are still trying to connect things, and that security is one of the big blockers that basically slows down that connectivity. They see value in connecting devices, gathering the data, extracting the insights, but they're struggling at identifying really how they can do that in a secure way. What would you say are the main things, and with the work you're doing at Keyfactor, that people need to understand to not be scared about connecting devices? What are the main things they need to think about to secure all of that, to make sure that they can go on to extracting the data, analyzing the data, taking action, changing the business models and so on?
Yeah. There's a lot of things. I think some of the key points, let's start with firmware. So first of all, if you are writing your own firmware, you should make sure that you're signing that code. And when you push updates to your fleet of devices, you should have those devices validate that where the code's coming from. So the origin and the authenticity, and you can do all of that with verifying signatures. So that's like one small, easy tip. I think if you are a system integrator and you're compiling a bunch of different devices, you have to understand all the software inside of there. Is there any open source?
Yep.
Even if it's not open source, who wrote it? Where did it come from? And then understand critical vulnerabilities, and then having sort of an ongoing process to manage and monitor that. And then maybe a third thing that we talk about is, again, being able to connect to your devices remotely via a secure channel. So an authenticated way to connect to your device, and we do that with certificates. So every certificate or every device should have a unique certificate-based identity. We've done this in the enterprise for decades, and now we're seeing this come up more and more in IoT. So it's really as basic as that. Have sort of a birth identity and then an operational identity for how you connect to it.
And something that many, if not all of the IoT platforms out there try and provide, right? The notion of the device identity and this generation of the cert that will go onto the device to allow encryption and so on. But very often I've seen customers saying, but who's the authority that will create that certificate and will authentify it and so on, right? I might not want to trust that one cloud platform, because they're not independent, and I'd like to have this third party. Is Keyfactor actually doing this kind of things?
Yeah, so we can provide a trusted root authority, and it can be dedicated to your company. So I know there's a lot of different ways to do it, right? You can get your root from a cloud platform, or maybe even a root can come from a chip level, which again, we're partnering with several of the silicon vendors to be able to enable that. So I think it's a company decision about what you want that root identity to be, and that root of trust then creates everything. You can create an infrastructure based on product line or product group or end customer, but really that's really what it is. And so trusting the root, who owns and manages that, and who has access to that is really, really critical.
Yeah.
But then if I think in that also regard, if someone gets access to your root, you have to have a way to update it.
Yeah.
So that's also important. So how do you have a way to then have all your devices to be able to refresh their crypto even while they're in the field? So having a method to be able to do that is super important.
The scary thing of like, oh, I'm going to be disconnected because my credentials are being revoked and renewed.
Yes, how do you do that? We also talk about that in terms of post-quantum crypto. So that's a whole other topic about how when post-quantum computing can crack the encryption algorithms that we have today.
You're here to scare people?
Yes. It's almost Halloween in the US here, so I'm getting ready for that. But no, it's something real. And we have people, very, very smart guys at Keyfactor that have been following the NIST standards around post-quantum crypto and implementing that into our products. So we're testing even like dual algorithms. So you can have a classical algorithm and then a post-quantum algorithm sort of ready to go. So that's a little bit more future thinking, I think, important for critical infrastructure.
Yeah.
So
there's something to say about the fact that security itself, cybersecurity is for IoT becoming something critical because now things are beginning to be connected and you're sharing with an infrastructure that might be public data that is critical to your business, right? And so cybersecurity is becoming really important. There are a set of regulations that are coming in to try and help enforce a certain number of things, but it's super hard to understand. And I'm wondering, is Keyfactor helping companies as well navigate these new regulations, this new context that manufacturers have to take into?
Yes, I'd say most of our conversations with our customers are about that. So they understand Cyber Resilience Act in Europe, right? Going into effect, there will be fines if you don't comply. And so part of it is breaking down what they say within the CRA, which again talks a lot about authenticity, talks about signing code, talks about having cryptographic risk assessments, security risk assessments. So I think we are working on that. I also am part of the IMC, which is a sort of a council of a bunch of different companies, and we're trying to do a similar thing: is understand what guidelines and standards are out there, and then regulations that are driving decisions by industry, because there's several of them. There's automotive standards, there's medical standards, but then I think the CRA is the one that we seem to be talking about a lot. That's driving a lot of behavior. So we got to take care to
people are freaking out. They've seen GDPR coming in, and they realized how expensive it was to implement something as simple as GDPR.
And this is more complicated.
Yeah, this is a high level. You need your Keyfactor buddy to help you understand all that. I'm saying that jokingly, but at the end of the day, IoT is becoming a domain where you have multiple disciplines that you have to take into account and to put together. There's the embedded one, there's the connectivity, there's the cloud, there's security and cybersecurity. And so you have to really go talk to the people who know how to do each of these things to really do it well. Like, I don't think anyone can really, apart from some companies that can hire all the talent, but I think it's a matter of partnerships and understanding who can help you implementing your solution, right?
I completely agree. And that's why I really like coming here to Embedded World and in Nuremberg as well. A lot of partnership discussions, because I think we all realize that the ecosystem is what's going to help make this successful. And I don't think you want to rely on one single company to solve everything anyway. It's really us coming together saying, you're really good at this and you're good at this, and then kind of putting all those ingredients together to make the right recipe.
Also, Ellen, that was great.
Yeah. It's so nice to see you.
Yeah, definitely. It's good to see you.